Hello everyone, I'm Colin Kinnett. Today we're going to make this cool little dish. We're going to make it with a jig on the table saw, so stick around to see how you can make one of these. You notice I've got some bits and pieces of wood here. This is the piece of wood that I'm using as is. This one I had to trim down a bit. What I need to do now is measure some wood that I can use as a stopgap in here on the fence. So I'm going to do that. I've already marked these, so I'm going to drill some holes, and then I'm going to put some pilot holes in the plywood because I don't want this plywood to split on me. Now I need to cut the center out of this. So I'm just going to measure that. This is going to be a little bit hard for you to see, but basically that's the box that I'm going to cut out. Now, one of the components for this is this little bolt, but I need to cut the head of it off, so I'm going to do that right now, and you'll watch me do that, and then we'll come back over to the table saw. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Now, the next thing I need to do before I do anything, I need to drill the hole for that bolt to go through. So I'm going to do that over on the drill press. I've decided to drill a series of 3 or so holes along here, and I'm using the fence that I made for my drill press with these mag switches on it. I'll put a link for that. You'll see that pop up on your screen there. Now the last thing I need to do is attach this hinge. So I'm just going to flip this on its back here so I can work on it easier. And there we go. Okay, let's see what that looks like there. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now we need to put that bolt through. So I took a minute off screen and I just cut this piece of plywood square and I drilled a hole through it. This is our pilot block, and what it's going to do, we're going to fasten it on top of the wood that we're going to be cutting, and here's the blank that we've already made, and I've marked the center of it. I'll be aligning this hole with that center, and we'll put that down over top of that, and we'll put some screws. We'll put 4 screws in, and then the bolt is going to come in on that, and it's going to ride in that, and we'll be able to turn that. But what we need to do right now, we need to figure out how far we're going to crank our table saw blade up. So for something like this, I always want to start with my blade below the surface of the top of the table, and my elevation crank, I want it at the bottom. Most elevation cranks have a wheel on them, a spinner, and I want that at the bottom so I can do a full turn. So there's 1 full turn, and you can see that's barely going to be biting into that block. There's 2. There's still not very much. There's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. And I think we could do 1 more. There's 6. So I can do 6 full revolutions. And I'm going to start all the way down. And if you want, there's no reason why you can't mark this on your table as you do the revolutions. But I like to do, you never do more than one revolution at a time. So first of all, I like to use this to locate the center of my hole. And if I turn that like that, I can see that hole. And then I can just push that down like that. And this doesn't matter if this pivots at this point, because we're going to be fastening that down. Now here's where it gets important, because we need to be right over the center of the blade. There it is there. And now I put that little mark on there. I'm going to align to that mark, which is the center. And now, so that this doesn't move back and forth, I'm just going to use a hand clamp on here, and that will make it rock solid on there. And that's, you can see that that's not going to move anywhere. There we go. Now that's rock solid on there. That's not going to go anywhere. Now the other thing is, the reason I made this like this is this can't go anywhere, because what we're going to do, we're going to put that like that, and we're going to slide that in there. And now this, the safety is that this can't go anywhere. There's no way it can pop up, and there's no way it can turn. So we're just going to go ahead now and start cranking that blade up. So I've sanded this down, and I don't know what's going to go in here, so I'm going to use a food grade to finish it with. Well, that concludes my video today on making the little dish on the table saw. And I've been making these things for years. It's just kind of a fun little project, simple and easy to do. And now you can see what the jig looks like for making these. And you know, not everybody's going to feel comfortable making these, and like anything in the workshop, whether it's on the table saw, the bandsaw, the router, you should never attempt anything unless you're absolutely confident that you're comfortable doing that. For those of you who are interested in making that, I'll have the details on Woodwork Web and how to make that little jig. I'm Colin Canet for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.